I know when you are vibe coding, okay? I shouldn't have to care about this. I don't want to care about how someone's code gets into the IDE. Whether you wrote it by hand, copied it from forum, prompted an LLM, or ran a simulation where monkeys are given infinite time to produce the solution. I think that makes sense. I guess right now, if I work with in a company, I don't work at a company, but if I did and someone submitted code, I don't give a damn if it looks like it's LLM that wrote it, right? Like I wouldn't care. I don't. Do you guys care? I personally wouldn't care. As long as it works and the code is clean, that's the most important thing. But apparently, the person who wrote this article thinks there might be a problem with that. I care about what gets merged into the code base exactly. When I click that approve button, I've got only a few worries on my mind. Does it produce the correct outcome? True. Will people understand this next quarter? True. Will they be able to change it? True. But lately, I started noticing things that immediately tell me that the code is written by an LLM. Okay, but why do you care? Tell us why you care. No, I don't mean the repetitive comments. This is honestly, this repetitive comment makes me hate cursor. And like, I hate it so much. You ask AI to do something, it will just tell you, like, it will have a comment saying, setting the variable to true. And I'm like, why are you having to comment that? Like, I don't understand. I feel like the reason they do it is because maybe the LLMs do a better job if they leave a comment before actually writing the code. But it's just so annoying. And I just have to basically end up going through all my code to delete all the comments. But anyways, not even the switch statements they are so fond of. I know the code was generated because it was written in a way no developer on the team would. Okay, in what way then? It works, it's clear, it's tested, and it's maintainable, but it's written in a way that doesn't follow the project's convention we've accepted. I know it wasn't written by a human. The smell of vibe coding. Okay, what does vibe coding smell like? Because no one would write a HTTP fetching implementation covering all edge cases when we have a data fetching library in a project that already does that. Maybe they didn't see your current implementation of the fetching library, maybe. But no, that is true. If someone writes, I don't know, if someone's submitting a pull request and there's a 1,000 line file that is written, I don't know, I just would look at them, I'd be like, yeah, I know you love coding and you love this job, but there's no chance that you wrote this. No one would implement a bunch of utility functions that we already have in a different module, okay? No one would change a global configuration when there's a mechanism to do it on a module level. I guess all these things, it's basically just saying that AI doesn't exactly look at your code to see what's already there. It basically just starts trying to implement. So if you see anything that's already done that is being basically like re-implemented in a pull request, then you know that AI is basically doing it. But I don't know if this is the case though, because if someone new joins a company and they don't understand the code base yet, I think they make this mistake too, right? So yeah, I guess it's maybe if someone's already working at a company and they already know everything that's implemented, then they would make this mistake. But I don't know. Okay, no one would write a class when we are using a functional approach everywhere. That is so true. This is so true. This also annoys me because I write my React components in a very similar way with React functional components. And again, every time I ask GPT to implement a component for me, it just ends up basically doing it in a new, unique way that I've never done before. I don't want to know how you wrote this. I just want to know that you care about what comes out of the model. This is code you wouldn't have produced a couple of years ago, okay? We spent decades coming up with patterns and standards that help us build maintainable software. That's always been the challenge, putting something in production that you can take care of for years. Anyone can vomit up a working implementation who stitches together a Frankenstein monster-looking piece of code that would get the job done. The part we've struggled with is making changes that too after you push it out to the, yeah, that is true. Because if you keep re-implementing all this and then basically changing how it's done, then I guess the next person that joins the company is going to struggle to understand what are you actually doing. Are you using functional components? Are you using classes for React? What the hell is going on here? Is speed the greatest virtue? I was at a local cafe a few days ago and they were training a new barista. There was a long line and the new guy was startled, rushing to make the next cup, spilling coffee and milk. We're back at this stage, rushing to push out the next piece of software because we think that speed is the greatest virtue. But people want a good cup of coffee, even if they have to wait a little bit for it. I think that's true, but it depends, right? If you work at a startup, I think the most important thing is that the coffee tastes like coffee and that it's made as quickly as possible. But maybe when you have the money that a big company has. Then you start taking your time and it becomes art to you and you start, um, yeah, trying to make really good coffee. But I think it depends. I always thought I'd be getting angry at the finance people who will be looking for ways to write smaller digits in the spreadsheet. But I'm disappointed by my fellow developers who quickly threw all principles out of the window so they can speed run software development. This is so true because if you guys noticed from when I was trying to solve delete codes, the fact that I don't even know arrays have pops, I don't even know like queues exist in JavaScript. I struggle with syntax and all this stuff now. It's all because I'm basically like using AI and using cursor. I think it's probably cursor autocompletes that is making my coding way worse than anything right now because it's doing it so quickly that I'm basically forgetting the syntax in the first place. It's similar to, with phones that autocorrect your mistake. So eventually you don't know how to spell it anymore. I think eventually our syntax, we're just not going to remember the syntax. I guess we're going to know how to implement this, but we won't remember how to actually write it. What I really want, I don't care how the code got in your IDE. I want you to care. Oh, I want people to care about quality. I want them to care about consistency. I want them to care about the long-term effects of their work. I guess you're just basically saying you want us to be artists. Like you want us to almost see our code as art. And as an artist, yeah, you can probably, I don't know, trace something or draw it very quickly, but obviously you care about your work and you want to take your time and make sure the quality is good. So I feel like that's what this is basically saying. LLMs are engineering marvels and I have the utmost respect for people who've created them, but we still need to build software, not productionize prototypes. Write better prompts, give better descriptions, tell the LLM what library to use, give it examples to follow, write smaller files. These are all solid. There are no new principles, follow the ones that already exist. Don't leave a code-based maintainability to the weights of a model. I really like this guy. I don't know who this guy is, but I feel like I would love to implement something with him. He sounds like a very fun person to code with.